Hello there, I'm Narrowbacks. Welcome back to Williams Speedrun. We are about to start our next season, and I think we're just going to get straight into it. Pretty simple one, honestly. Welcome to a new season. Gonna see how we did. Sponsored obligations. Am I actually allowed to change these now more than I could before? We are in 1.9. And on the McLaren game, I noticed that we could actually change things a bit more, but we're of course going to merchandise as much as we can. It is, after all, just free money for us at this stage. We, as you can see, get 1.3 million per race at a 20 million cost of preseason, total 10 million extra. So, still a decent amount of money. Simulator event here, cannot get them any lower. Probably same for race days, memorabilia, and the driver appearance. We are gonna have push actually a Piastri here because we don't need any extra points from Piastri. He's currently in points saving mode, so we'll have Piastri do the media show off this season, and we'll not be adding any extra sponsor obligations, which brings us up to well, 16 million extra in sponsor obligations for a total of 121 million. So honestly, if I could, I would just get completely rid of these. That would be the easiest way of doing things, but we cannot. Let us proceed. I think we're happy with that. In terms of balance, board balance, again, we have a lot more money than this, so we shouldn't be too concerned. We have, as you can see, starting balance 2028, 248 million. We, I think we're good. Technical, from last season, as you can see, we have gained a lot of cooling from the research, 25% for the chassis. We have lost a bit in front wing here in low speed, medium speed, and high speed downforce. That's just how things be. For the rear wing, we have recovered some, but not all of it, of course, so we're going to lose out a little bit there. Side pods, we have focused energy cooling here too, 33% gained. We did gain a bit extra in drag reduction airflow, but that is just a, you know, happy accident. And we did focus the underfloor a bit, so we have small gains in high speed and medium, and a tiny loss in low speed. We have gains in drag speed and airflow, so our underfloor should still be the very best of well, all the teams in play here. We also did manage to get the suspension to a point where we have gains across the entire board. So we'll see how that comes into play. Financially, no real changes here, as you can see. Price pool is the same, cost cap is the same. And sporting wise, we now have double points for the last race. We're still with the only top 6 gained points. And other than that, I think we are ready. I would really like to see changing our CFD testing limits. That would make things a bit more interesting. Powertrain manufacturers, I'm going to stick with Red Bull. We could probably take Mercedes because it's technically the slowest engine. But it's also the, I guess the best one for wear. But there's really no reason not to take Red Bull here. Because you spend 15 million for a Red Bull engine. They are the most powerful ones. And worst case scenario, you'll spend that extra 5 million that, you know, that you spend more than, say, Mercedes. You can just buy extra power units, so it's sad to say so, but I think the Red Bull engine is just a better choice, all things considered. Well, personally, I think. I haven't actually tested it out, which I probably should. Now, this is last season's board. We have 76 days now until the next race. 2028 internal car report. This is our 27 performance. This is our 28 performance. We have lost out quite a bit here, as you can see, in low speed cornering. Same for medium speed cornering, not as much, but still a bit. And we lost some in dirty air cornering, but we have gained immensely in terms of cooling. So I'll have to go back a little bit and rewatch some of last season's videos, but we'll see if engine cooling really has a huge effect here on, say, engine wear. That is actually something we can have a bit of a look on throughout this season. New regulations are in effect. We already gone through this. Don't need to look at it again. Car part development is now available, which we will get started on. ATR period has begun as well. Team rosters for the 28 season. We still have Verstappen and Sainz in Ferrari. We have Piastri and Porsche in our team. Doohan has actually gone to Alpine. That's good. That's actually really good. Russell and Norris and Red Bull. What is this timeline? Stroll and Tsunoda in Haas, Ocon and Leclerc now in Mercedes, Guanyu Zhou and Schumacher in McLaren, Albon and Giovinazzi in AlphaTauri, Ajah and Latifi in Aston Martin. Latifi has made his way back, and we have Hauger and Magnussen in Alfa Romeo. So driver-wise, we do have an interesting pool. I actually took a look at the drivers' pool here before we began, and I found a couple of 21-year-olds we could get, like I believe this man. So we'll have to see here. Maybe we do something like after the season, if it isn't super interesting, that I might do a couple of shorter seasons where I play through and try and test with some of the talents coming up here. But then again, I should probably do that on a newer save, because this save was initiated on basically a very early version of the game, and it is lacking a couple of staff as well as a result. So we'll see what we do with that. As you can see here, we do not have any points to give to any of our staff. So with that, we can start developing. We'll do what we usually do, which is to design an underfloor first and foremost. We put in all of our MAU and CFD hours, wind tunnel, and again, this is just because it is a flat boost. That is what it is. It's a flat boost, but it's fairly important. We also have fairly high car part expertise there in the underfloor still, around 75 to higher across the entire board, except for in low speed where we come out at 69. So we still have a really good underfloor, and with the CFD simulator, you see here the wind tunnel, CFD simulator, we end up with an extra 5%, 4 to 5% on most parts, and that is a pretty significant boost already, and this is without turning all the sliders to the right. And with that, we're going to get even slightly higher boost there. We get 0.3%, half a percentage point, probably less. We actually lose a bit here on medium speed. Does that mean they have actually fixed it? We'll lose out a little bit here by putting all sliders to the right. It would seem that it might be fixed, and it might just be that we are super high. I haven't actually noticed anything. I'll have to have a bit more of a look into it, honestly. First Grand Prix is in 76 days, so we want to get this done in time. 75 days with all 6 engineers. We're gonna run it rushed. Sorry, not rushed. Intense, like we do most parts at the start of the season. It's just for the extra expertise. Running it rushed, if you're not planning to build any more pieces, is fine. Honestly, it's not a problem. But since we're planning to keep on developing our car to some degree, I think we're just going to run every project on intense here. And we're also going to get a front wing going. I usually do rear wing, but front wing is probably the better choice. We could mess around here with cooling, as you can see. But even by turning it down, I'd say 70% is still fairly acceptable. We actually hit 70% perfectly with this. So it's not a huge gain, as you can see, by any stretch of the imagination, but we're going to go with this. We're going to put 5 engineers on it. We're going to go intense. We're going to get that front wing going. And as I've said here, I think we're going to use the other 2 slots for a chassis as some side pods. We could, of course, also start the rear wing. It's 76 days. We'll still have side pods and chassis going. But I think we'll get side pods, maybe suspension done, and then we'll take the suspension research onto a rear wing. That could be doable. Let us increase drag reduction, lower cooling. Again, I don't know if I should increase cooling, honestly, for this one. We'll do it low this first iteration, and if our car is still pretty dominant, we'll do another season where we focus on only cooling research. Because apparently the AI has changed the way they work now. They will assign the proper number of engineers to projects per start. And excuse me there. And they'll also run most of their projects on intense. So the AI in a new game should be far more competitive than in the current edition. I don't know if the AI does it here. So we'll have to see if they've had put up in any shape or form. If they haven't, I think we can assume that it hasn't worked completely well. See here, we have gains from design focus on all of these. Might not be the biggest of gain, but it's still percentage-wise, it matters, especially in Formula 1. And we'll get this done. And we might actually get the rare wing out in time too by doing this. But might have to rush a little bit. So with that, we can have a quick look here at car analysis. Which team actually came in second last season? Where do I check history? I would assume it's Ferrari, maybe not. Ferrari, Red Bull, Alpine. We'll have a look here because this seems to be accurate, but again, been a couple of days, well, a bit longer than that since we last were on this save. So I am a little bit confused and a little bit out of it, if you will. But compared to Ferrari, we still have a very dominant car. Ferrari is actually a pretty bad car, all things considered here. 13th, 5th. And it's not really what you'd expect, is it? If we have a look at the Red Bull, it is a bit better. We have a look at the Alpine. They're starting to get a pretty dominant car. They're basically second in most things here. 32nd, so they're second in cornering, both in clear air or dirty air. They're also second in acceleration, and they're third in top speed and acceleration. So it could be very interesting. I believe Doohan went to Alpine, did he not? Let's double check here that I'm not misremembering. Yeah, Doohan went to Alpine with Gasly. This could be... Well, that's topical. That confirmed this week in that Gasly will be driving for Alpine next season. That could actually be really interesting, because now Doohan has a car that is theoretically second best, and he has most of the pace stats, or all of them, really maximized, I believe. Verstappen still has the highest rating, besides Russell Norris. Perez is actually a free agent, and he's open to negotiation. So is Bottas, which is interesting. And what I want to check here was Doohan, because we should still have... Apparently do not have his performance stats anymore. So we'll scout him and we'll have a look. But I believe we maximize most of the things, if not everything. So with that, we now have all 4 design projects going. We're good on that front. And I don't think there's anything else we need to do before the Grand Prix. We have some facilities that I believe I allow to deteriorate here. Apparently not. Am I remembering it from the other save, perhaps from Aston Martin? That could be. But we just need to get them up and running before the first race here in 67 days. We do have 1 refurbishment incoming now. Expansion sim have been refurbished. Good. Team hub is in poor condition. Gonna refurbish that, of course. Same with the race sim here. We are spending money, but we have a lot. There's no worry. Up and coming driver. I'm pretty sure, again, someone that we cannot sign. It's just, again, a bit annoying, a bit sad. We definitely want the weather center to work properly. Again, I should probably do all these refurbishments here, as you can see. Although that takes 47 days, so kind of had to start it here. Expansion has been designed. Bahrain Grand Prix is in 48 days. We are going to be moving this over to what we're going to manufacture it for starters. And we're going to be moving the focus here on that one over to the rear wing. Sorry. Erwin had a point there. We put it in feedback. I believe that is what we want. Communication is not that important. And we'll do the same here for Jago. So, as you can tell, I'm slightly out of this, but I'll get back into it soon enough. The streaming kind of rattled me, maybe, but it was fun. So, rear wing design focus. We don't actually get stats here for some weird reason. Well, they don't show up as they should. Let's go out of this menu and try and go back in. Nope, still don't get it, but we'll just do what we usually do. Put everything to the right. And if we're concerned, we can go back and have a look here. Gain 1.15 from our design choice here. You see that we gain a slight amount of top speed, slight amount of acceleration, and just basically slight amounts on all of these. So I am slightly concerned, but the design choice seems to be giving a little bit. Now, if we were to say sacrifice the airflow sensitivity, we lose out. We still probably wouldn't be gaining too much here. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, not too much. I don't know if it's worth really sacrificing something like that. That in mind though, we're gonna go intense. We could go rushed here, just to have the wing out in time. But we're gonna go intense and we'll get that wing after the first Grand Prix. We'll probably do the first two without said wing. But that's okay by me, really. If the car is as dominant as we expect, then it wouldn't really surprise me. Okay, so they give Doohan a 1-year contract here with a very interesting salary. 21452754. And yeah, he's basically maxed out in pace. He's lacking a little bit here, and of course he's lacking in smoothness, but he's basically maxed out in pure pace. So we'll see how that plays out with Alpine, who is potentially the best car. Get a pointed smoothness for Pocher. Get the pointed cornering braking for Behrman here. And he's coming along really nicely here. Race sim has been refurbished. Good. The helipad is in poor condition. I should probably wait a bit, but I'm lazy and will forget. So let's just get that upgraded. Sorry, not upgraded, refurbished, so that it can work at maximum. We now have a design incoming. Boardroom 2, let's refurbish that. And you don't need to really, especially not for our team. But I'm just doing it because we actually need something to spend money on. Sideboard design has been manufactured. We're going to make 4 of those. And I should probably make chassis instead of side pods now I think about it. Because the chassis will take time to manufacture. Actually quite a while to manufacture in all honesty. Could also boost the engine cooling here a bit, or we could sacrifice it. I think we'll boost it just because we want to test it. I should probably have done this for sideboards too. We'll still gain a bit of stats, but it's also kind of weird that it won't show properly here on the right. Yes, the gain is just very, very tiny, as you can see. It's really tiny all across, so that could probably have an effect. 30 days. If we rush the chassis, we'll get them out. But then again, I feel like this isn't something we need to rush. We have the best car by a decent margin, all things considered. So I think we should be fairly okay. Factory in poor condition. We want to refurbish that. Especially now that we have manufacturing projects running. And we'll have more manufacturing projects running as well. We're not using our scouts. Again, we could probably get rid of them. But I'm just going to leave them as are. Welcome to the 28th season. Last year, so Williams take home the trophy. Gas reclaiming first. Brilliant drivers, brilliant minds. Seems to be just general hubbub, if you will. Preseason testing results incoming. As well as our front wing design has been completed. Post Barcelona testing results, again, first in everything, but not last on cooling for once. Let us get these 6 front wings made. And I think we are going to develop... I don't think we're going to focus on any front wings or anything like that. We could use side pods just to speed up, make a new addition here with also engine cooling. And I think we're going to do that. We're just going to focus the smaller pieces, if you will. And I think we're going to just put 4 engineers on this. And we're going to take that last engineer. And we are going to move him onto the rear wing project here. I'll probably shave off a day or 2 days. And that could potentially make us get that done a bit quicker. But probably not in time for the first race here. I wouldn't really expect it. We have a new ATR period incoming too. Which is probably why I waited, so I could boost something else. That's on me. Again, it's been a while since we started a new season, so I'm a little bit out of it. My apologies. But we have a new ATR period. Worst case scenario, we'll just put it into the underfloor. Because that is what we prefer to do, really. Underfloor or wings. We'll have to see exactly when the new research period starts to, and that'll help us decide. Again, Bahrain testing result tells us that we're number 1, so I don't think we really need to rush any parts. We'll just do them normally. That should be perfectly okay. And we actually have more development here for Bearman. We're just going to put both of them in a reaction. Does that mean we actually have points now for our staff members? We do. We can maximize the rear wing. And with that, VAC is now 90. And for our head of aerodynamics, we're going to get high-speed downforce leveled up. Airflow sensitivity could be something that we should get up, but again, for now I'm okay with leaving it as is. Diego will also need a new contract, and so will Vaca, so we're going to have some contract discussions this year, I guess. Hospitality area in poor condition, let us refurbish it. Don't really want to upgrade it at this point. And then we have the underfloor, which again, we will not rush. We could rush it to make it more interesting, but, well, not really make it more interesting, to make our car quicker. But I don't feel like we have a particular need for that. Race prep, Bahrain Grand Prix. Bahrain. Holy, definitely not functioning properly. So the chassis is not ready. Front wing is. There we go. Now we have the correct color specification, if you will. Let's install the front wings, which gives us a little bit of a boost. Side pods will give us a little bit of speed. Well, actually a decent amount of speed. And a slight amount of cornering. Let's get those on. Rear wing is not ready. The underfloor is also not ready. Suspension is ready, which gives us, again, a little bit of a gain. Not huge, but still fairly decent. And again, we might make another set of suspensions that will just boost cooling back up again. And we'll probably do that for the chassis too, because I honestly shouldn't have put it aside. But we are still missing these 3 pieces. With that, let's have a quick look here on how we're looking against Alpine, which is potentially the de facto second best team here. They've fallen a little bit behind during development, as you can see. So they're still 3rd in dirty air, but they've lost out in clean air cornering, down to 3rd, or 3rd is 2nd, 5th is 3rd. It's confusing, I know. And they've fallen out a little bit in the top speed department and acceleration, but I think they'll still have a good performance here. If we have a look at Mercedes, they're also looking decent. They are 3rd best in a lot of things, but I'd unfortunately say that we still have a fairly dominant car, all things considered. We probably have, again, a very, very dominant season ahead of us here. So, we'll have to see exactly what we do, especially when we get that upgraded underfloor. Our current underfloor, without any upgrades, is still the number 1 in the tire formula circus, if you will. Our rear wing is lacking a little bit here. 9th in drag, 3rd in some of these. We have the best DRS delta though, and as you can see, the Alpine has a very, very good rear wing on their car. Chassis wise, we're 2nd on engine cooling, but otherwise it's not very good. Our front wing is good for airflow sensitivity, but it's currently lacking in downforce. I believe our first creation here will fix that. Side pods, fairly a little bit above average. Still lacking in engine cooling, sadly. And as I said, underflow is number 1. Suspension is also really good. Alpine actually has the best one though, so yeah, it's a bit interesting here. You can see exactly how far we are behind by using this. So we've got underfloor here. They are not the ones with the best underfloor. They have one thing they're good at. Ferrari has an absolutely atrocious underfloor, 19th. They have the shittiest drag reduction on their underfloor. Are you kidding me? Red Bull 2 has a fairly average one. Who's it actually has the 3rd best? Mercedes? Yeah, Mercedes actually is winning out on a few things here. They need to work a little bit on the low speed. Still have a fairly decent underfloor. So, I think we have an interesting season ahead of us here, honestly. We're just gonna maximize everything. We still have the best car, but I assume the other teams are a bit closer to us. That could potentially make things a bit more interesting in the long run. Finish position streak, 1 driver in top 2, 5 races. We're just gonna, again, play it a bit safe. And with that, I think we are done with our preseason already. We got 3 pieces made, a little bit less than what we usually do, but I think it should be okay. We still have a fairly dominant car, and that is without the big upgrades in underfloor and rear wing coming in already, so I think this should be a bit more interesting season than last, but still, we should be fairly dominant. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Please like and subscribe if you did enjoy, it helps me out a ton. And I would also like to give a special thanks to the members of my channel and OG Scylla, who has been very generous during the last stream. And I hope you all still enjoyed the video. I'll be streaming probably later today on Sunday, sometime after the race. I'm a little bit unsure on when. Maybe around 2-3 hours later. I have some things I need to handle, but after the race today, Sunday, I will be trying to get the second part of the McLaren stream going. Last time we got the 5 first races done. We had a lot of luck with safety cars, and with that, we basically managed to score points in the first 5 races. And I really enjoyed all the tips that I got from the people watching. So if you think that would be something you would enjoy, please stay with me, and you will be finding a link to the broadcast, and also on my page you can find when it's planned to be released. So I think we're going to start hour or 2 maybe a little bit later after the race. It would be best to start as soon as the race is done, but as I said, I have something to do. So we'll have to see. The plan might change also if the race gets delayed. It's expected to be a lot of rain today at Suzuka, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Sorry about my rambling there at the end, but I'm done now. Bye bye.